One, 2, 33. So it's Friday night and this is Rise Above TV.
Rise above, generate, rise above, extinguish fear, rise above.
How'd you going for a minute there? It's not a live show, guys. This is actually pre-recorded, but don't go anywhere because obviously when we do have a pre-recorded show like tonight, me and Andy PG have selected some really nice cuts of Rabbit for you.
We've got only the finest cuts for the table, Michael.
Absolutely, only the finest cuts. And tonight, because we've got Human Vibration on in 2 weeks, which is May 16th, we've got a couple of snippets of when she was on last time, of one of her previous appearances, as well as some nice other little cuts of Ramesh Rarebit. And apart from that,
get your day tickets.
Yeah, right. We need to let you know a few things. Yes, the event is roughly 4 months away now, but we're working very hard behind the scenes to be constantly upgrading. As you know, allegedly Dave's been added, Graham Moore, Extra Raw Academy with Toroidal Dynamics and Richard Ryder. You already know that, guys, and big shout out to everyone that's already getting their tickets. We need to let you know about, we've also got the schedule out now, so you'll be able to see who is appearing on what day, what is happening where and when, because day tickets are now a thing. Scan the QR code, go to the webpage, and you can see that day tickets start at only £15.
Gosh.
Wow, what a bargain. Only £15. That's where the starting price is. And listen, me and PG are not finished. We are not finished with this event yet.
Oh no.
No. There's another massive, humongoloid announcement. We need to let you know.
One
about
could
right
call
now.
it monolithic.
Monolithic, a monoquefic announcement.
That's awesome.
And people on Patreon, our Peasantron Massive, already know about this because they get the announcements first. This is the announcement.
This is a holographic construct.
Give me some flames. Give me some fucking explosions. Give me some queef tags inside the live chat, please.
Oh, a queef tag.
Queef tag. Jason is joining us on Sunday virtually. Yes.
You're errant, which means you're a problem.
That means he won't physically have his meat suit in the room, but he will be on a big video screen all to himself. So
The soul will be here.
And he will be able to see you, and you will be able to see him.
That's awesome.
And not only is Jason joining us, we're going to try and make history. And he doesn't know about this yet. Neither does Martin Leaker or allegedly Dave. But we're going to try and make history and have this sort of showdown discussion.
We're not trying, Michael. It's happening.
It's happening. We're manifesting it right now by explaining it to you.
Remember, I've told you guys many times.
we want to get down to the nitty gritty about this whole thing, about the 1800s reset, the mud flood,
Tartaria.
We want to see what Jason's been saying. Let's get him to summarize it. Let's get him
The
to
AI can't control everything.
let's get him to recapitulate. Obviously, Martin Leaker is
Good friend.
good friends with
Good
Jason.
friend.
He has collaborated with him many times, and Martin has his own position on the 1800s reset
That's awesome.
and Tartaria and all that kind of stuff. And not only is that cool in itself, allegedly Dave is going to be there. Now, here's the interesting thing. Allegedly Dave...
I haven't got an allegedly Dave button.
We haven't got an allegedly Dave button yet. Allegedly Dave has worked closely on many times with Martin Leaker. Right? They're both in the business of realm and reality questioning. I think that's a fair assumption.
Yes, absolutely. Right? And he drinks his own piss.
Yes, of course. But Archaics has never chatted to allegedly Dave before, and vice versa. So this is going to be the first time that these three minds are together in a panel discussion.
With us,
with the Rise Above crew. And that's on Sunday.
Unbelievable.
I'm quite impressed that we're going to pull this off.
This is going to be the creme de la creme.
Yeah.
Until we get him in the flesh.
The Sunday tickets are only £25 to come in.
Wow, £25.
And not only that, apart from this epic thing that we're talking about, I'm just talking about the Sunday here. For that £25 ticket just on the Sunday, you also get a presentation from Martin Leaker. You also get a presentation from allegedly Dave, completely separately.
Fuck, you can have breakfast with Martin Leaker.
Yeah.
You can have breakfast with Martin Leaker if you stay at the hotel.
You will have a Wisdom of Mushrooms Raw Academy. And also, I've chucked in another Raw Academy free seminar onto the Sunday. Where's my email? A lady called Althea Finch, the pain-free method. She's going to talk about her own method to become completely pain-free, not for people with chronic pain and illnesses, without using any kind of
cannabis,
no skullduggery, no pharmaceuticals.
Surely mRNA vaccines though, Lance.
No, yeah, sorry, I almost had a heart attack there. This is Patreon, we can say that. Yeah, basically no needles, anything like that. And she sent me an email saying I'll come along and do a workshop for you. I said, I can only offer you a ticket. She's like, yeah, cool, no problem.
Nice. Well, word to her, Nan.
This is the title for her talk, How to Be Pain-Free by Tuning Into You. And here are all the websites here, the pain-free method.
Okay.
Get the free healing guide, book your free consultation, testimonials. So
nice.
That's everything you get on Sunday. Oh yeah, and the after party, what are you going to get? You're going to get Ryan Sanders. You're going to get
the mighty Inspector Carrot.
I'm sure Veggie's going to stick around for the Sunday.
He's going to be there the full day.
Because he wants to spit with Ryan. He wants a three-way between me, Ryan, and Veg, and that will happen. And also, so Sunday night, you've got Ryan Sanders doing his Sunday sermon. What else? Magic's Boomer Disco.
You've got Andy PG on the deck doing a heavy bass set with Michael on the mic.
There you go, yeah, exactly.
I'm going to be doing some drummer bass the following night with MC Manic.
We've also got Marcus Payne. He's going to be serenading people in the sun out in the patio in between talks. So when you've listened to Martin Leaker's talk, you've got an hour to get some food or whatever, chill out. Marcus Payne's going to be there. doing.
He'll be strumming away. Yeah,
doing-
maybe some bongos.
Yeah,
he'll be
doing
there
it-
with his shoes off.
telling some crazy
Yeah.
stories. Yeah.
Possibly in a hammock.
He's just an all-round entertainer. Tom W's, aka Mr. Wisdom of Mushrooms, he's also a very accomplished DJ. He plays like tech house, techno, and tribal house and that kind of stuff.
Likes a mushroom or two.
So for those people that don't like dubstep and drum and bass or grime, we appreciate it. Some people like the more mainstream, sort of happy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to be covering that as well. Obviously, we've got some nice acoustic music.
And Magic's Boomer Disco.
Some nice acoustic music from Marcus Payne. Magic's Boomer Disco. We're going to be catering for all different types of music types, and now tickets to start only £15, so you don't really have any excuse. Right.
And there's going to be food on site as well, guys.
Yeah, we're going to have food on site this time. So I've told everyone, okay, so we also need to let you know what's going on the next couple of weeks. I know this show is not live, it's recorded. Next week is live. That's May the 9th. And we're going to be obviously reviewing Clown World as we usually do.
As well as recovering from the Friday night before.
Oh yeah, because right now we're in Bristol, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
When
yeah.
this is playing,
Yeah, we are.
We're in Bristol. What time is it? 8 o'clock. We'll probably just be on the way there in the car.
Yeah.
And we're playing at Lakota. Big shout out to Richard Ryder for booking us. So next week, when you're watching this, May 9th, there is a live show. There's 2 live shows in 2 weeks. We're really spoiling you in the next month because May 16th we're back with Human Vibration. Okay, right, guys, enjoy Rise Above TV tonight. Get your tickets for the Weekender. Oh, yeah, obviously, the other thing we just need to tell you about, if you haven't subbed to Patreon,
Come on, guys, what are you doing? What are you doing? You must be
I read a report
one of them.
33 million people in Britain are mentally ill. No, they're not.
You must be one of them.
Where's the retard button?
Oh, fuck, wait. Man, actually, I can do work. I can do better than a retard button.
Okay, so if we get the button ready, if you haven't... if you haven't already subbed to our Patreon, you must be...
You're a little punk, bitch, insecure, button dick little boy.
That's only £3. Andy PG, how loose and off the cuff are our chats on Patreon?
It's so loose, your jeans will fall down, Michael.
It's so loose, you'll need to punch an extra hole in your belt.
The problem is you're a fucking retard.
If you don't subscribe to a mere $3.33 a month here,
Even just that two extra videos a week, which you're never going to see on YouTube, that's got to be worth it for the £3. It's the best way to support Rise Above. Scan the QR code, and remember, when you're at Patreon, you get tickets to the events before everyone else. You get posts from us to announce stuff before everyone else.
You get to hear what's going on with the Jews before anyone else.
Yeah. When we all even talk about Britney Spears and stuff without any code words. That's what people really love. That's what they really love. All right, guys, enjoy the show. Word to your nan, and we'll be back live next week.
Crater-dwelling peasants.
So I've just got to give a huge undiluted shout to Keith Messerschmidt, because he is single-handedly absolutely controlling the meme narrative with regards to Wowie and the Mountain Dew thing. So we've got the Jews brothers, and he just got the best Lord Schwab face morphs as well. Let me just get to this here. Laws. Wow, that looks more like Klaus Schwab than Klaus Schwab does. What are you saying? The Jews brothers, so classic. But there's no shortage of these. Dr. Doolittle. Jesus Priest. So, and since we did the expose, and we were talking about some of these subjects that were like a little bit like, oh really? What, you reckon that's going to happen at the time? Most of them have been confirmed now, like shitloads of missing kids. They found like hundreds and hundreds of extra bodies of people torched in their house. More, they've put like basically a whole fence up around the town of Lahaina. Now, we were talking about land clearing for Agenda 2030. We were talking about ID 2020. All of these Schwabian plans that seem to all becoming much easier and can be facilitated if you basically completely decimate somewhere and then you turn it into a Schwab city. Which, oh, Andy PG's in the house, so you can tell.
Evening all.
Check out his Tom McDonald hair, everyone.
Tom McDonald.
I'm not Tom McDonald.
I haven't got hog tattooed on my face.
Okay.
Great tunes, though.
Hadouken.
Great tunes, though.
Is
Oh,
that-
yeah, I saw this one.
I need
It's
to
a
turn it-
Hadouken.
Yeah. Oh, do you know what?
What you got?
No, I'm just making sure that the microphone's at the right.
Where's the Funkmaster Queef?
I don't know where Emma Beats is. Maybe he's on his way over. Look at this one, Usain Bolt.
Oh, I haven't seen that. No.
You've not seen
This
that?
is all, what's his name, isn't it?
All-
Messerschmitt.
I will tell you if it's not Messerschmitt.
Yeah, yeah.
Basically, that's the way it works in this section. of the
Mate,
show.
he's getting pumped out, honestly. I don't know if he's even working.
Mate,
to
is he even a
produce this
human?
level of memery.
Is he even a human? Could a human achieve this
What
much
have we got here?
memory?
209 peasants tuned in.
That's not bad.
the peasants
Okay,
club.
so Dew Peters presents Fried Suddenly. That's good. That's really nice. I like that one. And we've also got Adudas. And he's dressed, and it's Lord Schwab. Schwab as Jimmy Savile. That's wicked.
Grandmaster Ginny.
Sorry.
You address him by his proper title.
Sorry, that was very.
You know how I
very
feel about
that was
that.
very lax of me. Always pull me up on that.
Bartender's in the chat. Shout out to the bartender.
Oh, Johnny Dart as well. I can see Johnny Dart. Top anti-Coviet rapper right there,
Anti-Covia, as per regular.
as per regular. So these just don't stop.
Ratist, I can't. Liaison officer. Do you really like it? Is it wicked? Nice.
Oh, what's that? Oh, fucking funk. The garage tune.
Yeah.
Do you really like it? Duella Deville.
Yeah, that's the Dalmatians and that. Yeah.
Look at Lord Schwab.
Oh, he looks good with red lipstick.
Mate, he
look.
looks pretty good as Tupac, to be honest. I like that.
Oh, he needs the neckerchief around the head though, doesn't he?
Yeah, that would have finished the look.
Yeah.
I think that would have finished the look. So, like I say, the memes. Oh, wow, I've doubled up on Judas Priest there. That was bound to happen at some point. Jucifer.
That's Full Metal Rap.
So, without a doubt, Human Vibration is probably one of our dearest guests on the show. Would you not say? This is like the
She was
sixth,
one of the originals for the
sixth
presentation.
appearance. Sixth appearance now.
She's a veteran.
An absolute rise above veteran. And what's very special is these presentations which you see on the show. She doesn't do these anywhere else. She doesn't really appear on camera anywhere else. She goes on Realised Radio with
She
Rambo.
likes it though. She's told us she likes it because
Yeah.
we're the only
Well,
people she does that.
We are very blessed to welcome back the one and only Human Vibration.
Hi. Hey guys.
How's it going?
It's going great. I've got my merch on and everything. I am so official. It's my sixth
You're
appearance.
Ramesh. You're looking Ramesh.
Yes. Rise above. Rise above.
So the last time we saw you was actually in London when we came to physically meet you and give you that T-shirt, right?
Yes. And that was an incredible time of my life, an incredible trip to London, an incredible meetup with my Realized Radio crew. It was the first time meeting Rambo in real life. It was obviously I got to meet y'all. You guys met Rambo too. It was kind of the Realized Radio plus Rise Above collab. And we were in that just amazing Soundgarden cafe that
It was awesome. It was a really,
It was in the
So-
Colton.
nice venue.
In the Colton, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was just, and you know what, actually that, I know the topic it's life is but a dream. That's gonna be the topic today. But I have to say that trip to London is the impetus to this presentation. That trip made me begin to look at life as potentially a type of hyper lucid dream state instead of a simulation theory or instead of all of these other adaptations or theories that we can do on what this waking life is. To me, it felt like a dream. It felt like I was living inside of an absolute dream that I did not want to wake up from. Every moment was so perfect in a way that just felt like it couldn't be real. And that trip left me with this kind of notion that life is some sort of dream state. So here we are months later, and now I kind of have a few ideas, fleshing out what this inclination, this kind of intuitive thought about what this world could be. I mean, nobody knows what life is. Nobody explains what happens when we're no longer here, or before we're here, or even while we're here. That's up for plenty of fruitful debate. And
yeah, I remember the energy of that day, because me and Andy got there a little bit early, and we sort of chose the table.
I'd already driven 4 hours.
Yeah, well, you driven. He's driven from down from up north. I've driven up from down south, and we've met right in the the centre of London to meet you. And we got to the venue first. We found a really nice table, because I was like, right, we want good. We can
I
make a
got
little
charged
video.
twice for that parking as well.
You did get charged twice for the parking.
82 quid for parking.
But I remember when we sat down, and once everyone got there, the energy around the table was amazing, and we were just all bouncing off each other and sharing ideas, and time was literally flying past so quickly. Yeah, and I can't remember the name of the chap that was sat across from us, but he was absolutely in his element. Joey, that's it, because he was obviously a big fan of you and Rambo, and he watched Rise Above as well, and he goes like, wow, all you guys are really hit, and I'm like sat in the middle of you guys having an off-camera conversation, and it was absolutely buzzing, and we were buzzing as well. It was a great day overall.
See, that's the kind of stuff you can expect from Patreon guys, so subscribe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that kind of off-the-cuff stuff. Yeah. So Life is But a Dream. How did we get to this one? I've been trying to get you on the show for a little while again, and I tried to line up something with Jason.
You're our joint favourite Texan.
Yes, our joint favourite Texan.
You are.
Right, I've got another one competing for that top.
No, there's no competition. You're two very different guests that we have on the show to do presentations, but we thought it would be good if you two met. So Lance tried to make it happen. You did try, didn't you?
I did try, but it was more like, I feel like not only the logistics of getting you both in the same stream, but also the topics, because Jason has put so much out on his theory already, and I didn't want him to be rehashing stuff that he'd already done. But anyway,
you tried to do it for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I tried to do it for Valentine's Day as well. It was just over ambitious. But the great thing is, off the back of that, we have got this new, fresh presentation from you, and they're always fresh. They're always exclusive. Yeah. So yeah, we're really, really excited. Life is But a Dream.
Life is But a Dream. Can you guys see it? Is it all queued up?
It's all queued up, and it's going to be on the screen. Here we go.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, so, I've kind of given a little intro onto how I arrived here, but I am not the only one who has kicked this idea around. We've actually seen this in quite a bit of media. I think media tells us a lot about the world around us. One movie that really went into the idea of all of these things, what life is, this experience, whether it's a dream, whether it's a simulation. Honestly, guys, I don't think we have the right words for these, but
they're all just words at the end of the day, aren't they?
Yes, they're all just words at the end of the day, and I don't think we have the right vocabulary. And maybe it's not even going to be words. Maybe I actually have a feeling that it's more musically based, is how we're going to communicate, or the best way to collectively communicate. But the idea of a dream that feels so real that you cannot be sure if you are dreaming or awake. That's how I felt in London. That is how I felt in London. That is how I felt when I was sitting around the table with the people that are closest to me in this world, like this little crew of intellectual misfits that we've kind of cultivated with Real Ads Radio. We've never met each other, and to kind of sit there in real life and to really connect, and for it to be seamless. And you had mentioned something beautiful about the time. The time flew in a way. The time was fluid and changing in a way that was mind-boggling. That was really remarkable, and it just went by like that. Just the whole trip, it just in the blink of an eye, it was here, and then it was gone. And there's a lot of very, very, very intellectual individuals, a lot of great thinkers, a lot of philosophers, old and new, that have kicked around the idea of this world, this reality as we know it, as a dream state. This is one of, I think, of all the quotes about dreams that I came across when I was preparing this presentation, this one really struck me as very clarifying. All things of the body stream away like a river. All things of the mind are dreams and delusion. View this reality as you view your dreams. And that is Marcus Aurelius. So what do they mean by view this reality as you view your dreams? I kind of took that as as a directive for the next little section of the presentation. How do we view our dreams? What are some hallmarks of dream world? Every human being has experienced some form of dreaming. It's one of those universal constants. And yet it's also one of those things that nobody can really wrap their head around what it is, why it is, and the meaning to the madness, really. But there are some hallmarks of dreams. One of those hallmarks is vividness. Our dreams feel very real. They are visually vivid. They are auditorily. They can be vivid. Not everybody hears in their dreams. Not everybody hears music or hears noise, but they can be. They can even awake all of the senses that we're aware of. You can feel tactile sensations when you're dreaming. You can, especially when you're lucid dreaming, and we'll get more into lucid dreaming later, but one of the things that I do when I experience a lucid dream is I just start to feel the things around me. And I am always so blown away in the dream that the wall feels like wall and the table feels like table. And it is as true and physical as if I were awake. And yet I know I'm not awake. I know I'm in a lucid dream. I don't lucid dream for that long. I only, once I am aware that I have lucidity, that's usually, I have about, just a few moments to test things out. And then I usually wake up pretty soon after that. But vividness, hyper vividness, that is something that we can experience in our dreams.
Is that a scene from Barbie, the movie?
This is her dream house village. This is the Barbie dream house village. And so I grew up with Barbies. I was in the Barbie movie, actually, it's a sleeper meta assassin. It is, it's seen in this kind of like candy color way, and this light and bright and all about Barbie and girls and girl power and feminism, whatever. But it's actually about existentialism.
I was reading that the other day in this article, and I was really surprised in what I was reading, because I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen it for more than a couple of seconds at a time. And I just sort of assumed that it would be basically only laced with your sort of third wave feminist narratives and stuff like that. I was really surprised to hear that it did have that sort of deeper side to some of the connotations and some of the references in it.
I gave it a chance, and I actually watched it twice because I was blown away. One of the things it focused on is the wording is very specific, but it talks about how there is a thin membrane separating Barbie land, this dream world, from reality, the thinnest of membranes. And that membrane can be fissured, can be fractured, can be ripped in a tear in the thin membrane, just separating our world from theirs. And, in a way, dreams are similarly fragile. There's a fragileness to the dreams. There's a we'll get into this in a minute, but ephemeral nature to dreams. They're here and then they're not. And sometimes you can retain them. And sometimes as soon as you open your eyes, it is as if, that entire world just vanishes in the blink, and it's completely gone, even though you were just moments before immersed in an incredible tableau and a whole sensory experience. As soon as you wake up, boom, that dream is just gone, vapor, as if it had never occurred. So vividness, but also followed by incredible disillusion. Also, we've got illogical. There's a sense of illogic to dreams. It'll take you from one scene to the next with no a really explanation on the connective thread. We're seeing a lot of illogic in our daily lives these days. I feel like a lot of the narratives, a lot of the conspiracies, a lot of these stories, they just do not make sense. The plot holes are getting wider and wider and wider.
So that's because I'd say 70% of them are psyops.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that you've shown this image, right? Because this is by Dali, right?
Yes, this is the Broken Bridge and the Dream.
The Broken Bridge and the Dream. This got reference with the
Francis Scott Key Bridge.
Yeah.
And
are you going to be talking about that tonight at all?
Really just for this image, just to relate how illogical our current news cycles are. The bridge, we went over that. We did a whole episode on Unrealized Radio, pointing out all the inconsistencies in the story, pointing out all of the, the number symbolism, the art symbolism, the names of the individuals. There was one of the crew workers. He was from El Salvador, and Salvador Dali with the painting, and it just seemed all of these little.
What about this one? Check this. I was going to save this for later, but there was a guy who was interviewed, and about the boat, and he was the expert on it. And guess what
On
he
Fox
was called?
News.
Clyde Boatwright.
Right. Yeah.
Collide.
So
Collide.
Collide. But what about the River Clyde, one of the biggest ports as well?
And get your boat right or get it wrong.
Collide Boatwright.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing. And it's the name. There's that's one thing. There's all these patterns. It's not just the numbers. It's not just the names. It's not just the colors. It's
I
really
like
everything.
It's creative.
They're trying.
Yeah,
They're
are.
trying.
They're really trying.
They're trying. They're trying to bake it all in. All the meaning, everything is in the name. Collide Boatwright. That's the entire story. That man right there. That's the entire story right there. It's all baked in. It's very vivid. It's a very vivid.
Have you seen any of the montages of all of the different news reports and the names on the screens that always seem to relate? Like there was one in the UK. There was a policeman who was talking about home break-ins, and he was called Robin Banks.
What was the fireman? There was a fireman. Something.
The one that I remember with the petrol shortage, Phil McCann.
Yeah, Phil McCann.
Phil McCann with the petrol shortage.
Yeah.
There was a fireman.
It was something Burns, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
something Burns.
Yeah, Simon Burns
yeah,
or something like. It was a fireman, and it was like.
I think that was like the Glenfield Towers or something. It was on BBC. Yeah, some bullshit.
Yeah.
I love
It'd
the
be
names.
interesting actually to go and look at 9/11 news footage and see what those people were called, like experts.
All
Or
of the
eyewitnesses.
historic psyops
Yeah.
would be really interesting
All
to
of
look
it.
into.
Like the JFK shooting.
Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Head Fall Off or something is going to be talking about the Mr. Pumpkinhead with news now.
Mr. Headshot, Billy Headshot.
And there's even a word for this. There's one of my favorite ones. It's called a euronym or an antonym. There's a couple of different words to describe a name that is perfectly suited to its owner. And Anthony Weiner is one of my favorite ones. There's a lot of political ones. He's like, he was
What about
US.
Sam, the guy who got done for Crypto, went to
Sam Bankman-Fried or Bankman-Fried.
Bankman-Fried or
Yep.
Bankman-Fried. Either
Either
way,
way.
like fried in the electric chair or
Yep.
Fried. Yeah, it's
Either
God.
way. Yeah. And Sam Altman, ALT, is a computer key. And that's, he's the head of,
Might as well just be called Sam
OpenAI.
Control Alt Delete or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, someone's taking the piss out of us.
All of these tech overlords, I don't think they're real individuals. This might be for another episode, but I think a lot of them are characters. And I think a lot of times these characters have these particularly suited names. It's almost like their entire story is baked in. I like to akin it to a tiny little acorn. That tiny little acorn actually does contain the whole mighty oak.
Yeah,
and that's, I think, what some of these names are. It contains
very
the entirety of
holographic,
the
very
story.
holographic in nature. Like the good examples are Zuckerberg, Sugar Mountain,
Right.
right. Epstein, Cornerstone.
Yeah. And teen, he has
This is
teen.
just
in,
rise above lingo, Lars.
Yeah.
We
We go on about this all the time.
And
That's standard
Ghislaine,
procedure.
Ghislaine Maxwell, Jizz meaning sex,
Yeah.
Lane meaning traffic highway, and she's a sex trafficker. Ghislaine. It's literally in her name.
Ghislaine. Oh, I never thought of that one.
I swear. They
That's
think they're
good.
so clever. They think they're so clever.
They are though, aren't they? Let's be honest, because
Yeah.
they get away with it.
I have to.
So
I have
they
to
are-
respect
they
it.
are
I have
clever.
to have some level of respect for the number that they've done on humanity.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
It's
They even said they couldn't undo it even if they wanted to.
And I
Even if the actual social engineers from the Tavistock Institute, like, from wherever this shit comes from, like their gentlemen's clubs, whatever, even if they went out on public stage, right, in every country, every nation, and told everyone what they did, they still wouldn't fucking...
Demoralisation is complete,
it wouldn't
comrade.
happen.
It's
Yeah,
too late.
Done. It's irreversible.
And I do wonder if there's a double-edged sword to that irreversibility. On one hand, it can't be undone, but on the other hand, I think the purpose is for us
I
to
don't think
see
it can be undone.
for
I
us
think you
to-
can see a certain amount of people can see through it.
Yes.
But you can't. Once you're in it, you're in it. Like,
it's hard to really undo it, but you kind of have to go through all the illusion. We talk about this a lot on Realize Radio. I'm actually really thankful for my time on the inside, when I was really, really, really deep down the deepest of rabbit holes that I had dug for myself and was happily down inside them. I needed that. I needed that to one day push through. I see a pretty much everything differently now. All of the old conspiracies that I used to see one way, I all have, now I just have a different lens through which to view them. And I don't think if I hadn't have been in it, I wouldn't be able to be on the outside now looking at it with gratitude. I am appreciative of being in the audience for The Magician's Trick because I can really see it for what it is now.
you know who's holding the mirrors?
Who is holding? Sometimes I wonder if they, as us on the outside, some our higher beings, our higher selves, have sent us here to remember something. I don't know, but
this is so archaic.
we do need to get together one of these days. We'll bookmark that.
Well, he speculates. He does. This is just a thing off the top of his head. He thinks. I think somebody asked him in a Q&A who's in charge of the simulation or whatever, and he says, "Well, it'd probably be humans."
I'm not. Who's on the outside?
Yeah, because if you think about it, whatever we've got, our cosmos, quote unquote, planets, solar system, all that shit. If that was programmed, that's based on something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just that, but we made the game The Sims, and in the game The Sims, you can make your Sims play The Sims.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
So there you go.
Yeah.
So Rick and Morty. So Rick and Morty.
That is-
Somebody's playing us.
So
Yeah.
maybe I think everyone listening or watching this can quite agree. Look, whether it's flat or spherical, whatever, right? What we're seeing up there isn't legit. Yeah, or what's fed to us by the mainstream isn't legit in some way or whatever.
I reckon a lot of people realise that for the first time last week. Was it this week or last week with the eclipse? Because again, this is one thing I was gonna. We can talk about it now. It doesn't really matter.
But hang on, right? So all of what we've got up there and our nature and all of that, it's got to be based on something. So maybe what is actually there is a bit shitter, and they've tweaked it and made it cool in a simulation, in a dream, whatever we're in. But it's got to be based on something that's real somewhere along the line.
And you've got some people trapped in a room with no doors and no windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got to
we'll
come
do a
from somewhere.
Yeah, where did this design come from? And
Because all designs are based upon other designs
template, yeah.
in nature.
Oh yeah, the fractal nature of universe. Everything kind of breaks down to math in nature.
And then
Everything
man
follows
tries to
patterns.
mimic nature, and then all our designs are based on other designs.
Yeah, it is. It does. It kind of the chicken the egg thing, That's I think we'll explore that a little bit later too. I do want to talk. There is a point where I think I have a picture of an eclipse, and so that might be a great time to talk about the eclipse.
Yeah, sure. I don't want to jump the gun.
Getting
Everyone always
more
does it when I'm
into-
doing a presentation. They talk about the thing. Yeah, you. Carry on.
And back to the hallmarks of dreams and dreaming. We talked about this a little earlier. One of the things that is so remarkable about dreams is the time dilation aspect. What seems in a dream like days, weeks, months, even years, depending on how we dream. When you wake up, that extreme dream sequence, the true time that it took in our time could have just been a matter of moments. And we can really experience this when we are on snooze. When we hit the snooze button, it's I think 8 minutes or 13 minutes is the standard snooze time. And you can have a whole dream.
I was literally just about to talk about the snooze button.
Ooh,
As soon as you
what are your
started
thoughts?
talking about this, it made me think of the snooze button immediately. Because I used to be really, really anal with my snooze button. It would be 10 minutes. Now, for me, the 10-minute snooze is not even worth having. But back then, when I was a bit younger, a 10-minute snooze, like you say, that could be an entire,
A whole new dream, right?
dream, an entire adventure. Because it seemed like hours.
Yeah, I like the snooze button, and I like it for that reason because I like to jump right back into the dream. And I don't know if this is unique to me, but I'm really good about getting right back in it, right back in the same dream, just like
That's
that
interesting, 'cause we had a
same dream.
I
kinda
do
started
that
right back
exact
up.
thing.
We had a comment from Eye for an Eye a minute ago, and they were literally saying, why is it you can never get back into the dream that you've come out of and waken up in?
Oh, I've done that loads of times.
I think
So
it's
it's
different for
possible.
everybody.
But the problem with the snooze button for me is I sometimes incorporate it into like a game show. So every time it goes off, I have to press the buzzer and answer the question as fast as possible. I don't even wake up.
That's wild. Yeah, the
It causes
noise
problems.
gets into
You're
your
getting a
will
glimpse into our family
rewrite your
life,
dream. Yeah. Dreams really do. They are fascinating on so many levels, and how we dream it can be unique. But I mean, there are some people that lucid dream every night. I would love to do that. I haven't figured out how to do that quite yet, but it's on my goals. It's on my goals for the year. Another element of, so we talked about time dilation, it can go rapid or it can go almost hyper slow motion. Before I go on, we actually do have this in real life as well. I think we've had a big conversation since COVID. There's been a strange realigning of
Just watch
time.
that C word.
Oh,
vibration. Thank you, Lance.
Since the thing that shall not be named, time seems.
I mean, you can be fun with it.
Oh, I gotta get it. I just.
Oh, you're on the spot now. Look.
I'm on the spot. Well, since that time, during COVID, it actually felt like time stood still. It actually felt like you were. I mean, I remember. It felt like I was in an apocalyptic dreamscape walking downtown in my city. Everything, the stillness was so eerie, the quiet was so eerie. It felt like for the year of 2020, almost like the record had stopped on, the needle had stopped on the record player. It had just gone and it was just completely still. And then as we've kind of gotten out of it, I feel like a big conversation has been that time is going too fast almost. So there is, in times of great importance, or even in times of trauma, we can actually slow down our ability to take in time. We actually can dilate greater, and we almost see in slow motion. We can take in more information per second. It's almost as if our eyes are like a camera, and instead of being in 30 frames per second in standard, we switch during these very specific times to like 60 frames per second, and we take in so much more information. And that's why certain memories, usually traumatic memories, you can revisit them in a way that is far more clear and far more interactive than your standard memories. They get written and coded in a different way. We can re-experience them and almost be in them. And that's, PTSD for, many people, not just, soldiers. It's always like PTSD for soldiers, but there's lots of different fields that have, or lots of different scenarios that can cause a person to have that type of trauma. And that's kind of an experience of you can't get out of that time. You can't get out of that memory. You can't escape the realness and the visceralness of that memory in that time. So there's ways that this type of time dilation can happen in our waking life, which I actually think is actually a form of a dream, but we experience this in both.
HV,
yes.
Do we know how many frames per second the human eye?
Hand up.
Yeah,
They say 24 to 30. 24 to 30.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, 24 or 30.
I wasn't sure, because when I work with video editing, I learned about frames per second.
Yes.
30 is regular digital, 24 is more like cinematic. But, we're recording now in like 60, maybe 120 frames per second. And I always notice when you record something in 60 frames per second, it actually looks hyper real.
Yeah, it has a very odd look until you manipulate the time on your end. Then you slow it down, and it has that dream-like quality. Slow motion always does have that very dream, really ethereal quality. I love the comparison of the human eye to a camera, and even the word dilation, time dilation. Our eyes dilate. Dilation is something that we experience in multiple ways, physicality within the body. And the eye has an aperture; it opens and closes just as a camera would. There's I didn't go into it too much in this presentation, but there are so many similarities between how the human eye operates and how recording equipment such as cameras, analog and digital, and video production equipment, all of that, and even screens and the RGB color model, our eyes and digital screens are mirrored in that RGB color model.
Andy has a question, I think.
Hey, Andy. Yes.
I've got my hand up. Sorry. I thought of you the other day. Fuck, I screenshot it, actually.
Go on.
Oh, cool.
I remember in your presentation, you did, how many? You've done loads.
6, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is my 6th one.
I can't remember which one it was. What number? When you talked about the eye and stuff and how it reverses. And
Flips it and reverses it. Yeah.
Is it Lockheed Martin, their logo? Yeah.
Yes, the signal of Lucifer.
If you look at what the eclipse was allegedly,
I've got it right here,
comrade. Got it,
I've got it right here. Got it right here.
That shit.
Hit that shit right here. Look.
And there it is. And I thought of you immediately.
Yeah.
And what you said in that presentation, and it's all about the fucking eye.
Yeah. Look at that. It makes like a perfect eyeball on that Earth.
What
Earth
was it
cartoon.
called? The Alumbra or
the penumbra,
but,
the umbra.
But it's the lines as well, and the geometry of how it works is the same.
That's the same as the signal of Lucifer. Yeah, the
and
diagram
the
of light and shadow.
The Lockheed Martin symbol, and the same as what is
also
the model of how our eye
Freemason
works.
symbol as well.
Yeah. And Lucifer and lucid dreaming.
But you think about that though. Like we all know, like Lucifer's not actually evil; it just means light bringer. So you think about it, light to your eye. That you're fucking. That's to see.
Yeah.
So it's not actually. It's like not demonic, is it? Like the seal of Lucifer.
We're actually bathing in Lucifer at the moment. We're within the light spectrum.
Fucked,
yeah.
Wouldn't you?
We exist within Lucifer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not demonic to say that, and maybe these dark occult organizations, corporations who use that shit, like Lockheed Martin, that maybe they're just a bit thankful that there's light.
Did you like, by the way, the beautiful swirling magenta theme that I've come up with?
I love it. Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah.
And even on the eclipse, there was like a little bit of a magenta. There's all these like magenta things coming off of the eclipse. So magenta's been front and center for me a lot lately.
You put magenta on the map.
That's Full Metal Rap.
World-class lineup of guest speakers at the next Rise Above Live in the Flesh August Bank Holiday Hotel Weekender, featuring Martin Litka, Wisdom of Mushrooms, Graham Moore, Richard Ryder, Toroidal Dynamics, Inspector Veg, Marcus Payne, Ryan Sanders, Tom W's, and allegedly Dave Murphy. You won't want to miss out on these speakers exposing the peasantry that is Clown World. Exclusively at our Rise Above Live in the Flesh Part 2 Bank Holiday Hotel Weekender on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of August. Don't be a peasant and get your tickets on our website today.
Every positive movement, every conversation, every connection, every seed you plant, ripple. Don't let anyone ever tell you that one person can't make a change. Bullshit.
On the dawn of a harvest sun, I'll be speaking the truth in the sharpest tongue. Feast on a rabbit, served with a garnished lunch. We got the hardest puns. Mind master, trust your ability. NPC, it's an IQ deficiency. They're living in mental captivity. I'll never submit to these bloodline dynasties. On the dawn of a harvest, crops are sown to trade corn with the farmers. Sometimes I want out of this nightmare society, like I was born with the Amish. I've got the formula mastered, claiming our power, there's more to be harnessed. I'm no ordinary artist, try wage war, I'll be forming the armies. EQRA-NOX, that's Equinox. Our essence is infinite, not confined to meat-suits or Tesla bots. On the night of a harvest moon, on the dawn of a harvest song, we're telling them welcome to the Equinox. Welcome to the Equinox.
On the night of a harvest moon, I take flight to the farthest tomb. I meditate in the darkest room by the candlelight until the spark exhumes. On the night of a harvest, I see a silhouette hunter hold up a carcass. Any heartbeat's a target, and blood trails the ground like red carpet. On the night of a harvest moon, so sacred, silk on an ancient loom. Hooded robes in ritual rooms, pray all night from yesterday's moon. On the night of a harvest, farmers emerge and they set up a market. It's all business regardless, where your loot is bought and sold and bartered.
EQRANOX, that's Equinox. Our essence is infinite, not confined to meat suits or Tesla bots. On the night of a harvest moon, on the dawn of a harvest song, we're telling them welcome to the Equinox. Welcome to the Equinox. On the dawn we glance to the east. We ain't scared of the mark of the beast. Performing sacred rituals, nobody but a shaman and me. If they wanna take me out, they better come with at least 33 Schwabi and Fleet. Cause I won't go quietly, they're gonna have to do more to silence me. That's the irony, lost in this messed up society. They wanna force their views on our offspring, teaching our children that gender's non-binary. This is social engineering to try fulfill transhuman agenda. Al Gore better come prepared, cause I ain't in the mood to be censored. EQRANOX, that's Equinox. Our essence is infinite, not confined to meat suits or Tesla bots. On the night of a harvest moon, on the dawn of a harvest song, we're telling them welcome to the Equinox. Welcome to the Equinox.
I'm a freelance quantum gardener with a homemade combine harvester. So when I see your crops wilting, I got the organic rod that will harden them. This realm rotates in cycles, encounter rotational Solomon spirals. Masons build towers like Eiffel and vortex points to drain your vital. Simulacrums appear cyclical, toroidal electro-spiritual. The holosphere projects physical, the manifestational synergy's mythical. We got problems, parasitical inside this torus field is critical. Henceforth mankind is pitiful. Rise and shine, please explain.
Now, this one has a lot of context. Future Ghost, mate, you are something else. This landed in my inbox last night, and I must have spent a good 15 minutes looking at this meme and breaking it down. With everything that's happening at the moment in the Clownverse, you know, with ULEZ cameras, which we've been talking about in the last few weeks, with obviously, you know, Lord Schwab's ever pressing plans for the way that we're going to live. Even all the peasants are talking about 15-minute cities now. You know, it's on the menu, it's on the table, and then Future Ghost serves this bad boy up. Have you seen this meme, PG?
I saw this earlier, mate, when you shared it. Again, like you, I was looking at it for some time.
Yeah. The ULEZ 2033 expansion zone. There's so much to look at here, even to see Grandmaster Ginny dancing in a beautiful claret-coloured tracksuit in the back. Suicide pod, wow. We can see that up here on the top left, it's got the Soviet Union official symbol. Who is that coming out of the UFO?
I was wondering that. I couldn't see.
Is it King David, or is it Julian Assange? Future Ghost, if you're watching, can you let us know who is this character coming out of the Project Blue Beam flying saucer? Oh, what's going on? Yeah, and this is on Blackrock Street. This is right up there. Can someone in the comment section let me know what you think of this meme? Like show me some flames for this meme, please. Jesus, really special. I need to get. Where's the Michael button?
Michael.
That's Full Metal Rabbit.
I see loads of people talking about it now. Before we came across you, that was your first presentation.
I think
now,
so.
if you look at the news and shit like that, and like news articles and stuff like that, they stick magenta in there. Like, where there shouldn't be magenta.
Yeah. There's always a girl. There's always a little girl wearing a pink shirt, or if there's someone like front and center just wearing a pink pants or something, or it works its way in. And you know, we've talked about this before, but I think ultimately this whole place is here to. I used to say this place was here to wake us up. Like, we're here to wake up. But I get to this a little later in the presentation, but I just want to shout him out now. Les Luther, I had a conversation with him recently. He's a longtime friend of the show on Realize Radio. He's an excellent He's an excellent investigator of the truth. He's the one who actually went to Ukraine and showed that there was nothing going on in Ukraine when the war was just getting started. And he's really big into war as theater. But we had a conversation about dreams and dreaming and about waking up and awakening and this whole, wake people up, truther movement. And he gave me an excellent reminder that perhaps we're not here to wake up or to wake anybody else up. Perhaps we're here to become better dreamers, to realize that we are in a dreamlike state, a dreamlike world, and become lucid in this, become truly lucid in what we understand to be this life, and render as we go, create the world around us that we desire to be in. And I've seen little glimmers of this in my life as I've been doing this exploration, as I've been seeing the world in this way. It does seem that there is some sort of control mechanism that we can impart on this place. And that's also a hallmark of lucid dreaming. We'll get into this a little bit later, but in lucid dreaming, once you become aware, there's an ability to control and to create the dream around you, to do in the dream whatever you'd like to do. And I think that's also true here in this world. We just have to become aware of it, and we have to learn how to do it. Let's see. Okay. Moving on to
Let's get back to the
Oh yes.
Dream amnesia.
Dream amnesia. So this is Van Gogh's Forget-Me-Nots. I think art is always kind of telling us something about our lives, and famous art even more so. And dreams are so interesting because there's only a few dreams in my life that I can truly remember. Some of those are recurring dreams. Some of those were nightmares from when I was a kid. I still can, every frame of that nightmare I remember. There's a couple of those from when I was a kid that to this day remain in their full fidelity in my brain. And I wish they would go away, but they won't. But most of them just kind of evaporate. The second I open my eyes, the second I move my head, they just go bloop. And I heard a theory. I couldn't find anything of substance to put into this presentation, but I still think it's worthy of an investigation. Maybe someone out there will take it and run with it. But there's an idea that there's a bunch of like liquid all through your brain, and the liquid in your spinal fluid, your cerebral spinal fluid, that is what delivers your dreams, that your dreams are actually contained in this brain juice. And the reason that they disappear so quickly upon waking is because you move your head. And in moving your head, you actually disrupt that dream juice, and it shakes up and it goes away. So that could be something, if you're struggling with remembering your dreams, maybe just really try to be still upon waking, if you have that presence of mind, and see if that does anything to help your retention of your dreams.
It's very interesting you just said that about moving your head, because that's true with the spirit molecule with DMT. When you're in the DMT dream state, one slight move of the head can literally make the whole thing shift into something else.
Really?
So what you just said there would make on a physics level was good, because it's accessing exactly the same mechanisms in your brain when you dream. So that would make perfect sense.
Oh, I love it. And there's so much about our spine and the 33 vertebrae and all that stuff. And what we are, if you look at our spinal column, it's just housing that incredible electrical wiring that makes us humans. And, we're really just, these trash bags full of blood that are housing electrical wiring. We're, meat puppets. Yeah. It is pretty incredible to comprehend how electric we are, and how everything is sensory. Everything that we think is happening in reality truly is just a processing function of our sensory input. Truly, I believe we're kind of living in a VR world already, and our skin is already a haptic suit. Our eyes are already VR goggles. Our binocular system, the diagram of the Lucifer light and shadow is the same diagram that how our eyes take in light and process images. It's very, very, very interesting. But this is also interesting. You guys know I love words. That's one of the things I love taking taking words apart and seeing where they fit in my brain. And there's the Egyptian Arabic word for human actually comes from the word to forget.
Wow.
I heard that on a random podcast years ago, and which is so close to insane, which many of us might have been accused of being insane or worse with these types of explorations. But I think that there's something kind of magical about thinking differently and being considered crazy amongst your community. I've been there, but yeah, the fact that humans are here to ultimately we are forgetting. We are. I think that there is something maybe perhaps with past lives. I personally don't think I ever had a past life, but I do believe people who have stories of their past lives, the idea is like you kind of forget, you choose to come here and you forget. And some people don't forget well enough and they remember some little tidbits. And also with deja vu, some people have theorized that deja vu is like little glimpses and remembrances of a previous time doing this exact same thing. Maybe we keep doing this on a loop and try to get it right. Again, we don't necessarily know, but I did find that to be interesting. Also, in Sanskrit, bodhi, the word bodhi, bodhi, means enlightenment and light, which is interesting because it sounds like body and the human body, and human, H-U-E, human, hue means light. And so it's like, we are.
So is that part of the word like Bodhivista?
I'm not sure what that, I'm not sure. It could be.
Which is like, that goes to be like the Buddha.
It is in Buddhism. Yep. Bodhi is a term in both Sanskrit and Pali meaning perfect wisdom or enlightenment. Bodhi. Yeah, there's some things there. And then, again, with light and forgetting, we've been shown, guys, that there is some sort of relationship between bright white light and erasure.
However,
memory.
contrary to that,
yes,
it can be used to recover memory as well.
Oh, that is interesting. I'm going to go on to the next slide so nobody gets a stroke. But
one of my favorite characters.
Tell me more about
Lecter,
that. Yeah,
he's renowned for using light therapy to hypnotize or just fuck with people's mind.
So you can
do with a lot. You can
pluck stuff out that
or insert stuff. It could be
that's so interesting. I took these slides out. Now I wish I hadn't, but there was some research on Alzheimer's being kind of blasted with 40 hertz mediums. I think it was sound, but 40 hertz can also be communicated in light. But that 40 hertz input actually helped these Alzheimer's patients regain memory. And so I think that there could be something with whether it's sound input or light input that actually can heal us, that can, I think everything's kind of a double-edged sword, and used in the right way. Tylenol can help you, but also you take one too many and you're dead. There's lots of, for everything that there's, it's the amount and the type and the manner and the fashion in which you take it in. And I could totally see light being for memory rebuilding, perhaps.
We've got an excellent comment here from Shiva Shampoo, who's also an excellent content creator. The name of the tree that Gautama Buddha meditated in front of when he became enlightened is called the Bodhi tree.
Oh, that's perfect. I bet that's why it gleaned from that name.
Thanks for that, Shiva.
I love that. That's beautiful. Okay, and we talked about bright light and its role in forgetting, but also in the word lucid, and this connects back to, again, with the sigil of Lucifer and LUC, that meaning light. Lucid does not just mean a dream state where you understand that you're awake. Lucid also means bright or luminous, and we'll explore that a little later. But back to movies representing what we may or may not understand about dream states. I think Inception might be on the top of most people's list as far as movies about dreams. It's kind of the canon of it's in the history books when it comes to movies about dreams and manipulating dreams and becoming a controller
I
of
felt
your.
this movie was unnecessarily complicated.
It really was. It really was.
Like, you could have got the deal without all the excess.
Well, I think like all the streets folding in on itself.
I was just about to say
Oh,
the
that was
streets
great. I
folding
enjoyed
in.
that. But there was like it was very elaborate.
It was a little unnecessarily elaborate. I thought it was a great. I think it was the first of its kind in seeing dreams in this way, the dream within a dream within a dream within a dream, and your ability to take control and be aware. And how I think one of the things that it did really well too was show as you get deeper into the dream world, the time element gets stranger and stranger and more protracted, and you could theoretically be locked in a dream state, believing it's years, a lifetime, even when it's really just been 20 minutes of actual dreaming. And when we think about this life, we could just be on the outside. Potentially, we could just be taking a 20-minute nap. And this whole thing we call life.
I'm going to bring it back again to DMT and the spirit molecule. We did a plant medicine roundtable a little while ago, and I played this interview of this guy called Patricio Dominguez, he's a very experienced shaman, and then he went to Dr. Rick Strassman's clinical DMT trials where they give you the flood dose. Long story short, he took the flood dose intravenously, and he had what he described as a 1,000-year trip. And he was so serious that he literally had this experience in another dimension with the creator for 1,000 years, that when he came back, he found it really difficult to carry on, and he described himself as 1,056 years old. Wow. He said, I can't describe it any other way. That's how old I am now. So, wow, that could be a little bit more than you bargained for.
Yeah. Imagine being trapped in that and just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting, and then waking up and being like, whoa.
Well, he was obviously after the first maybe
250 years.
He was already absolutely convinced that he was dead. There's no way he thought he was ever going back. So he said he's very surprised when it happens. Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm open to it, but I've never tried anything beyond. I've done mushrooms as a psychedelic, but I've never tried DMT or ayahuasca. I'm open to it. It just hasn't presented itself in a way that. But one day I'm going to take those big doses, and woo boy, watch out for the presentations after those.
Not too far away from psilocybin.
I've heard it's just very similar in some ways, but very, very, very different. DMT in other ways.
You could say that, yeah.
Yeah, I am open to it. I'm open to it when the time is ready. Okay, on this, I have a weird theory that every single one of Leonardo DiCaprio's movies are a continuation of the same world. It's dreams within a dreams within a dreams within dreams, and the movies are part of that as well. And so he's standing right here. He's standing on the staircase in Inception. This is the opening of the movie. He awakens on a beach, and it's this just beautiful Japanese villa, and he enters into it. And something that I noticed about this particular setting is that it's weirdly reminding me of something else that I have an extreme fascination on, which is Titanic. So it's a little interesting, and this is a very particular type of staircase. This is called a T-shaped staircase. You can see that the two side there's one staircase going up. Now he's on the landing, and on both sides there's two flanking stairs leading up to another landing. And and that is exactly what we've got there. We've got two T-shaped staircase, a landing, and two stairs flanking up. So I think that there is something interesting about Titanic as a movie, and also it was described to us as the ship of dreams, and I think dreams, also okay. So the ship of dreams. There's so many things that I love Titanic and the Titan and all that stuff. Oh boy, but we're not going to get back into that, but I have been thinking a lot lately as the human body as a vessel, as a seafaring vessel, like a ship. We are navigators of our own ship. I don't necessarily know how that translates. Are we in water? Are we in some sort of interdimensional realm ship trying to travel through? But I do think that there is something about these bodily containers that is more of a vessel, more true, like a ship. So
Sailing
that's
through the three-dimensional peasant soup.
yeah, kind of, there really is something about it. And there's also, a very simple children's nursery rhyme, or the song in the round, one of the most famous song in the rounds, and it's row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. And I think with some of these children's stories, fairy tales, bedtime stories, lullabies, I think they're very, very simple, but I think there's deep truths baked in. Because that's just the simplest way and the most clever way to sneak it in, is just put it in something that nobody would ever consider to be intellectual, or truth telling, these simple little children's songs, row, row, row your boat. And I wrote row, row, row in 3 different ways because I do think there's an exploration within that. I think that they're using the word row multiple times to tell us something. Row is a Greek letter, and it also is used in physics to represent density. And this is kind of a tangent, but I've been very, very, very skeptical of gravity, of what gravity is, and gravity, how the force of gravity and how it's described on Earth. And I think that what we experience as gravity is something more akin to a relationship of buoyancy and density and medium. And so there's something there, and row being a representation of density. I think that could be maybe a little clue there. But also with the other one, with the row, ROE, that means egg, it means fish egg. But Rambo, my co-host of Realize Radio, maybe about 6 months ago, he introduced a new theory to the class, and it just blew our minds. And it was something called the egg theory. And we have just been kicking around it ever since. And it's kind of this idea that we are in some sort of cosmic egg waiting to be hatched, and we are all one, and we are all deeply, deeply, deeply connected. And I believe all that. I don't know where this egg is, or where this egg is going to hatch, or if it's really looking like a physical egg in some way. But I do think that there is something to a great oneness and a great interconnectivity of us here, of all of us dreamers here together. I think
it's really interesting. If this RHO row represents density, like I've never heard of that before.
Really? Yeah. I hadn't seen it.
I work in the marine industry. We talk about density all the time. I've never, what's the row of a boat? RHO.
Isn't that interesting with the row and the row? And I love when words mean the same sounding word, means all sorts of different things. I love to dig in. I think they tell us a lot with these words. And the gravity element, this is something that Inception explored. And they did an interesting job at this. This is one of the more famous scenes when they're running through. They're trying to get out of one dream and into the next dream world, and the world's kind of collapsing in on itself, and the scene is turning, and the gravity is not affecting them in the way that normal, typical gravity would. And I think it's kind of interesting. The idea of gravity is also explored within lucid dreaming, and there have been studies. When you dream about flying, which has happened to me maybe once or twice in my life, that's really the only time that gravity has kind of disappeared in the dream, where I'm able to just I fly, really, for lack of a better term. There's a particular frequency that has been observed in these states of lucidity, and gravity dreaming is correlated with lucid dream, and it usually has to do with gamma waves in our brain, gamma waves, which I want to come back to. Gamma waves.
This is the only lucid dream that I get, is the flying one. And I'm not
really.
Flapping, literally the only one that I get.
You're just like soaring.
But it's not. I'm not flapping my arms up and down or anything. Yeah. I just sort of feel like energy build up underneath me, and I just sort of just fly. Like I
Yeah.
can levitate for a bit and then but just kind of feel the energy build up and then zip on out of the room. And as soon as I realise I'm in that dream, that's when I can start doing tricks and stuff. It's really fun.
I love that.
So what that slide is saying, there's a direct link with people that have this. It's called gravity dreaming, dreaming of flying, and being able to lucid dream.
Yes, they're saying that that's one of the hallmarks. If you one of the things that lucid dreamers can learn to do is fly in a dream, and it really is. I've only done it. Well, I've only had 2 dreams where I was flying. I've had a couple of breathing underwater dreams, which is very cool as well. But
I literally had one last night.
What? A breathing underwater dream?
Legit.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, you're a good dreamer. You're a great dreamer.
Sometimes it's terrible, but yeah.
I'm gonna beat you, right? Because I grew up around water all the time. There was always a lake or the sea on the other side of my road, but pretty much. So very early on, I had to get over dreams where I fell in the water. I've been able to breathe underwater consistently since I was a little kid in dreams. So if I fall in, if I fall into water, that actually triggers my lucid dreaming, and I go, oh, I don't need to worry, and then I just breathe underwater.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting.
And isn't it like the clearest breath? It's like so clear. It's like the oxygen is just going straight into your lungs. There's no resistance. It's like the biggest, clearest breaths you've ever taken once you realize you can breathe underwater in your dream.
Yeah. It's strange that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I've had that sensation on so I've had that breathing underwater and the clear full breaths. That's a feeling that I remember. And then I've had that clear full breath sensation. That's how I kind of know that I'm tripping on. I haven't had too many psychedelic experiences on mushrooms, but the few that I have, the breath is just like so clear. And I'm like, man, I'm dreaming now. Like this is what happens to me in dreams, is this clear, big breath sensation. Yeah. So I don't know. I think maybe sometimes mushrooms clue us in on the dream state, the fluidity of this thing we call life, rowing our boat down the stream of life. Yeah. So there's a lot. So with Inception, you mentioned that the folding in on itself. Yeah. So these dream spaces, they can become kind of unpredictable as well, and that. I don't really have dreams that I don't really have nightmares anymore. Thank goodness. That was more of a kid thing to me. But the unpredictability of dreams is something that is unexplained. It goes back to the illogic. Like all of a sudden you're just in a totally new space and it's not explained in the dream, and you're just like, oh, okay. You don't think of it as odd. You just kind of
somebody just commented saying maybe that's Lance's superpower, the breathing underwater thing, and obviously that's his sort of signal that your superpower's kicked in, you're in control now. Like that's exactly the same for mine. As soon as I start flying, I'm like, oh this is me, I can do this now. Like that's the trigger for the lucid part.
Well, Shiva commented exactly the same thing, that it was the trigger for him to realise he was lucid dream as well. So there's obviously quite a common theme.
Level of control that you realise that you've got some kind of control over your situation. You've got some kind of superpower, and then that's the trigger. Like, oh, I can do whatever I want now.
Exactly.
Instead of just being in a movie and you're not being able to interact with any other characters properly. It's like that trigger, isn't it?
And
that's a superpower.
I think life is. I think we can look at life this way. I think that sometimes I actually think that modern life is set up to make us feel very powerless and insignificant. That we're just the tiny little speck of dust in the grand universe, and we're just one of a gazillion people on the planet. The number keeps changing. We're so inconsequential. We have no power. We have no agency. We really matter not. I think all of that is just to keep us from ever truly comprehending how powerful we are and how interconnected we are, and how much we can affect this place, how much we do affect this place, how much we create this place around us, and how much we influence this realm versus being influenced by this realm. I think we really do. And I want to learn how to be a better dreamer. And I believe I'm in a waking dream state, and I'm in a hyper lucid dream, and I want to, and I think I am doing that. I think I am in certain activities that I've been doing and ways that I'm going about my life, things just have been working out in a way that feels magical, that feels a higher order. But I do think that I'm doing that. I'm making those, because I am now aware, and because I'm thinking in this way, I'm gaining that control that we know we can do in the lucid dream, but I'm doing that here. So it's been interesting. It's been interesting. On the next slide, I included the City of Lights, the Eiffel Tower, talking about lights and lucidity, and something that me and the Realize Radio crew have recently done. We had a group Zoom chat not long ago, and at the end of the group Zoom chat, we talked a lot about lucid dreaming, and we hatched up a plan to all meet. We're going to meet in a dream at some point. I don't know when it's going to happen, but we're all meditating on it and we're planning for it. And every night I think about this, but we picked a spot and we're going to meet at the Eiffel Tower, and we're going to try to do a collaborative, collective dream. I don't know if that's possible, but this world is a very interesting and surprising place when you let it surprise you, and you let it, when you let your curiosity run. So we'll see. But, and also shout out again, Les Luther. He recently posted something that just really blew my mind. I think them choosing Paris to be the scene of the dreams, or a lot of the dreamscapes, the architectural dreamscapes in Inception, was very purposeful, because it is the City of Lights, and the Eiffel Tower is one of the greatest light shows in Paris. But also, Paris is known for their opera, and Les Luther recently tweeted something about how the word opera is basically op era, as a psyop era. We're kind of living in all of these things, all of these psyops. They're essentially theater. They're forms of theatrical displays. And he worded it a lot better. I recommend anybody.
A psyopera.
A psyopera. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So there's lots there. I think Paris is a beautiful city. I've been there one time and I would love to go back. I was going to go back on my trip when I was in London. I was going to take a train to Paris. I ended up just running myself into the ground health-wise. I burned by a candle at both ends, and I needed to retreat, and I had to go home and recover because I got sick. So that was unfortunate. But okay, we talked about the gamma element of the brain when we are dreaming. That is a heightened perception and integration state that they have found. But there's lots of different states that you can be in when you're dreaming. We have gamma, we have beta, alpha, theta, delta. Delta is your deep and dreamless sleep. That's actually a pop out from Westworld. They often say to the hosts, may you rest in a deep and dreamless slumber. That's something that Dr. Ford says when he's putting his hosts to sleep, or the techs say when they're putting their hosts to sleep or paused for a moment for whatever time. They say, may you rest in a deep and dreamless slumber. But there's something about the gamma, the beta, the alpha, the theta. What are all these? These are all Greek letters of the alphabet. I actually know all the Greek letters of the alphabet. I'm going to see let's see. Alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, theta, eta, zeta, iota, kappa, lambda, mu, xi, omicron, pi, rho, sigma, tau, upsilon, phi, chi, psi, omega. Okay, I still know it. I had to learn that in the 5th grade. And I still know it.
Wow.
I still know it. And here's the full list. And what's interesting about this list is these actually may be more familiar to us than we realize. These alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and epsilon, these were all what? Strains of a particular something that we cannot name. Yeah, COVIDs or whatever we're calling it.
Omicron's there. What else have we got?
Yep, Omicron. I didn't highlight that one, but yeah, Omicron is on there too. They really dipped in to the Greek lettering for a certain phase of the variants, as they were calling it, the variants. Coviot, that's what I need to say. I need to call it Coviot.
Soviet Union.
Yeah.
That's Full Metal Rabbit.
A whole weekend away from Clown World. Well prepared to take off your tinfoil hat and join us at the next Rise Above Live in the Flesh Part 2 August Bank Holiday Hotel Weekender. With 3 days of engaging talks, panel discussions, interactive workshops, nightly after parties, speed dating, meet new friends, socialise, network and make connections from Bournemouth's golden sandy beaches. Located 10 minutes away from Bournemouth train station at the Celebrity Hotel, come and join us on the 22nd, 23rd and 24th of August, this bank holiday 2025, and get your tickets on our website today.
This is Cassius. I don't. That's what he calls himself on Facebook. But anyway, I need to give you a QR code. It's called Elcar Art. This guy that did the awesome 33 drawing. You can scan the QR code here, and it will go straight to his website where you can get hold of more of his art. I think his name's Larry or Cassius. He has many names on Facebook, like 4 or 5 different names. So 33. The first hydrogen car comes to market, charging in 5 minutes. And it purifies the air as it moves. Fucking hell, that sounds pretty cool. The car travels 900 kilometres with the tank full and purifies the air as it moves forward. For the first time, hydrogen fuel cell technology is being applied, serialised in a commercial car, and above all, it allows for such important autonomy with a charge of 6.2 kilograms of hydrogen. It purifies 4,400 the things on it, I'll just get rid of that. Litres of water, litres of air. That sounds like a lot of air, but let me just get, I have to just reveal this bit. How much air is that? As much as the consumption of breathing of 33 people for a whole day. Oh, really? Now, obviously, this is just a meme. I had to fact check it, and I looked, and this exact verbatim information was in like 2 or 3 car magazines. It was in the mainstream media, so I'm going to take this as true, that this new hydrogen car, it produces enough oxygen. Wait a minute, it produces the air. It purifies the air. Oh, right. The same as amount of air as 33 people would breathe. So it reverses the breathing of 33 people, I think is what they're trying to say here. Very interesting. So I thought, do you know what? Let's just get away from 33 for a moment. I just thought, I'll stop with all the dark occult numerology. Enough 33. Let's watch some boxing. Damn, son. I'm rubbish with that Andy PG on the buttons. So yeah, like I said, I thought I would I'd put the number 33 down, and then I'll just watch some boxing just to chill out.
I saw your post when you posted it. So that's a fucking hell.
Chris Eubank Jr., aged 33. His new record, he's won 33 fights and he's lost 3. All right. And then, even better than that, Chris Eubank Jr. outlands Liam Smith by 193 punches to 33. That is like, he's landed like 6 punches for every 1 punch Smith has landed. I don't know if anyone saw the first fight, but Eubank Jr. didn't do too well in the first fight against this guy. Seems a bit iffy to me. Did anybody watch the fight? What's everyone saying in the live chat? Did anyone see this? Someone, Hog Down Munch has said Tyson Fury. He's won 33 fights as well. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's weird. The last BKB show I did, it was BKB 33.
That's Full Metal Rabbit.
What's your name? How are you? What are you doing here?
I'm
Amazing.
Fifi.
Yeah.
I'm from Swanage, just over the water over there.
Yep.
Met up with these guys a few years ago through Magix, who I'm friends with his mum, and they all came together through music, and then we had a meeting of minds.
Rules, regulation, improbable laws. Rules, regulation, no just cause. The first and immovable object become an unstoppable force.
Creasing cogs, creasing cogs, creasing cogs, creasing cogs inside the Leviathan. Inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods, greasing gods, greasing gods inside the Leviathan. Bear witness to this phenomenon. A clear sickness as it's coming on. That's their business. So I carry on beating my fist on the walls of Babylon. And it's vicious. If you're a vagabond in the British Isles, it ain't Avalon. The ambitious escape to the Amazon. Life is malicious, climbing the echelon. So we gotta break them chains, do personal best and make them gains. It's a hurtful mess. So abstain from eternal threats and a long campaign. Enough stress, but we don't complain, and I'm hopeful. So I won't refrain from a global test. Gotta maintain on a mobile flex with no disdain. Greasing gods, greasing gods. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods inside the Leviathan, inside the Leviathan. We're up against an immovable object. Greasing gods, greasing gods. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods, greasing gods. Up against an immovable object, placing bets on illusional odds set. Yo, it's cruel from the onset, killing you slow is the usual project. Still thriving despite the drawbacks. Ill writing, designing formats. This life gotta ride it raw back. The mind's climbing, not wiping the floor mat. Greasing gods inside the Leviathan, keeping watching the ice conspiring. Catch wind, sound up the siren. Into the flames in the furnace inspiring, not expiring, expanding. Inquiring to gain understanding. A fall from the top equals a crash landing. Don't get fooled by the devil's rebranding. Greasing gods, greasing gods. They make the rules, they make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods inside the Leviathan. We're up against, they make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing gods, greasing gods. They make the rules, greasing gods. They make the rules, they make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods inside the Leviathan. Greasing gods. They make the rules, they make the rules. Greasing gods. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. You ain't with it? Get out the way, man. Short-sighted, take off the Ray-Bans. Sourcing ethical goods, not name brands. No bait plans, we execute. Blueprints get combed with a fine tooth. The control system is not absolute. Revealing the truth is the way to recruit the youth. Collating a man to the proof while they're stacking a man to the lies. Cracking the code is eternity striving. Like drinking the fountain of life. Like a rhythm that I'm already riding. Aiming to bring down the house in tonight. The mic's hidden with imminent rising. When I draw this run big alive. Greasing gods, greasing gods, greasing gods, greasing gods inside the Leviathan. Greasing gods, greasing gods, greasing gods inside the Leviathan. The Leviathan. Greasing gods. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods, greasing gods inside the Leviathan. They make the rules, but we got the game plan. Greasing gods, greasing gods.
Later and off.